Hola,
¿Cómo estás?
muy bien, gracias. A little Spanish lesson for you. Oh my goodness. Hello, and welcome to Pardon Me, Alex, SFA's only lumberjack basketball podcast with your girls, Alex and Jax. Man, it feels like it's been a while since we chatted lumberjack basketball,
I
but
know. It's like a whole week without a game.
I know, strange. It's absolutely nuts. And then, of course, after the game on Saturday, we have to at least wait a few days to do our podcast because yesterday was the Super Bowl, and so that day's out. So there's too much going on, and nobody wants to sit and listen to us when the Super Bowl is on. So yeah, it's just been a wild week in sports, a wild week in WAC sports specifically. So yeah, why don't we just get started? Let's just go.
So yeah, we have some big whack headlines.
Big WAC headlines. So we're just gonna start off and kind of dive right into the couple that have really stood out this week.
Yeah. Few big ones.
I know. So the first one is a little surprising just because it's, towards the end of the season, but it's not even really, I don't know, like it's not close to when normally coaches would get the boot, right? But UTA, University of Texas at Arlington, decided to part ways with their head basketball coach, my bad, Coach Greg Young. And they did that kind of quickly.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little odd just because this is their first year in the WAC. I feel like give the dude a season. I mean, before and it's not like they were doing terribly. They certainly weren't the bottom. And then they let him go after a win. So
It was just weird timing.
like, is there something else we're missing? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. I mean, you let them go after a win, and it wasn't like they hadn't won a single game in the WAC like they had. And I guess the other thing too is just the fact that he had been around in that men's basketball program for a while. Like he was an assistant coach, he was an associate coach, and then he was a head coach. He's been around for 14 years in the UTA program. So I don't know if that's just like, hey, we're ready for something new. It's been 14 years of you having your finger on this program. Time for a new change. But why do it with, a handful of games left in the season?
Yeah.
Why not just finish it out?
That's what I'm saying. If that was it, I feel like they would have waited till the season was over.
Completely.
It's not like they're going to be able to replace him in the last few games. They're going to have to wait before the next season anyway. So it makes me wonder if there's something else we don't know.
Yeah. And so that was, I guess, the lesser exciting of the two major WAC news stories. So after Coach Young got the axe, so to speak, Coach Johnson, who is the interim head coach, will be taking over for the last of the 6 games of the regular season. And then, of course, any postseason that they do in Vegas. So, yeah, it's just a weird situation for UTA, and I hope that they'll, kind of get their lives together and figure it out before next season, and which I'm sure they will. It was just a weird announcement, changing of leadership, on a Friday after a win before WAC Vegas even started. So yeah, so that's the first one, and then the second one. You might be living under a rock if you haven't heard about the news coming out of New Mexico State. I don't even know.
The new news, not even the old news.
Yeah, I know. Like all season, we've kind of been alluding to like this, crazy stuff going on in New Mexico. And, how one of their players was involved in a shooting, and then the coaches were involved in covering it up, and all this random crazy stuff. And we thought that was the end of it. And that was bad enough. And then now is I don't even, honestly, it's very sad. It's very sad. I do really feel bad for the players who were, victims of what it was going on during this time period. So basically what's coming out now is that there were serious allegations of hazing, of a team member over a long-term period. I think 7 months or so it was when I read the news article. I mean, multiple criminal charges, criminal offenses. I think of at least 3 players. They haven't obviously named those 3 players, but things ranging from harassment, criminal sexual conduct, and false imprisonment. What is happening?
Yeah, I don't know. And here's my 2 cents. And I agreed with that video of Jeff Goodman kind of breaking it down that T-Bone sent us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the hazing is terrible. It's terrible. Feel awful for that player and shouldn't have been happening. Totally agree with them putting everyone on leave and not continuing the season. However, we didn't go this course of action with the earlier scenario. That, might I say, they're both terrible, but probably has bigger implications. Yeah, Jeff Goodman was like, this should have been done after the first situation.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I mean, away from this situation, I just don't understand why it wasn't done then and it's done now.
Right. You should have put a stop to the program then, when all of these news reports coming out that your coaches and player were involved in a shooting and a death. What are we doing?
Didn't cooperate with authorities.
I mean, if I was the athletic director, as soon as that came across my desk or I got that phone call, I'd have been like, all right, stop, we're done. We can't move forward until we have this situation rectified, and or at least we have all the information and we can move forward with maybe, getting rid of the coaches who were involved, or just cleaning house and installing an interim until, the season's over, whatever it's going to be. I just, mind-boggling.
Yeah, mind-boggling is a really good term.
Mind-boggling. Yeah, both situations are just outrageous. Never even thought on a wildest star dreamed that would be the new story coming out of Las Cruces. I thought when we saw breaking news from them, it would be more stuff on the shooting, but all of a sudden now it's hazing to the worst degree. And I'm just I thought as a society, we all agreed that this was just not good. Why all of a sudden now are we just okay, let's start hazing our teammates again? It's just, what? It's just wild. So yeah, crazy news coming out of the WAC this week. One, well, just both. Both are wild in their own ways. I no words, honestly. I'd rather go through another year of NCAA sanctions for bad grades than deal with that stuff.
Totally.
You know what I mean? That doesn't have any lifelong implications or consequences. That's just a slap on the wrist because we lied about grades. And we
lied that we just didn't do it correctly.
Yeah. There's no for the students.
It's a victimless discretion.
Yeah, exactly. There's no consequences past college for these students, athletes that it occurred to, because you know what I mean? There's nothing that doesn't follow them with them. This follows these students and these coaches forever.
Yeah.
And insane. Just absolutely, like I said, mind-boggling. Okay, so that's what's going on in the WAC currently. The rest of us unproblematic queens and kings just keep on doing what you're doing. Let's dive into the game, because we had a road game this past weekend. We had 3 road games in a row, 2 of which didn't turn out very well in our favor. But the last road game to UTRGV, thumbs up.
Yeah. Turn
it around. Exactly.
So going into this game, our record against UTRGV was 4 wins and 2 losses. We have not lost to them since we joined the WAC. The 2 losses we have against them were in 1986 and in 2006. Before this game, our largest margin of victory was 93-63, so 30-point win. That was on the road last year, 2022, and our smallest margin of victory was 86-75, which was also last season, but at home. So it's just weird that our largest margin of victory against them was on the road and our smallest was at home. But
yeah, I feel like sometimes we are hardcore road warriors. Obviously, the last 2 games prior to this didn't really show that. Well, GCU more than New Mexico State, obviously. But that's whole other reasons. But sometimes we played better on the road. It's just wild, and sometimes we play better too when the GCU game, we played awesome. There was just the difference between threes and that was it. And sometimes I think we just perform better under pressure like that. And so this game kind of showed that for sure. A few programming notes. Who didn't travel? Was it Jalen?
Yeah, Jalen was not there. And from what Rob said, and I didn't remember it being that big of a deal during the GCU game, so I must have just missed it. But apparently he took a hard foul in that game, and he's on concussion protocols, so that's why he wasn't there.
I guess he did. I guess I don't remember the foul, but maybe he took. I think he took a charge towards the end of the game. Maybe that might have been it. I'd have to go back and watch, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, same here. Not.
Yeah. No, yeah. Okay, so to update everyone on the basketball standings and of course the resume seating. Utah Valley still kicking butt up at the top of the standings with 11-2. They're I'm not going to say untouchable, but they're damn near. Seattle U at 9-4, along with Southern Utah, and then Sam Houston and us both at 8-4. And then you have Grand Canyon at 7-5. Tarleton at 7-6, California Baptist and Abilene Christian at 5-7, UTA 4-8. Again, they weren't doing amazing, but they weren't doing horrible. UTRGV at 3-10, along with Utah Tech, and then of course New Mexico State at 2-10. But obviously they will not be. And I guess we forgot to mention that they've suspended all of their games for the rest of the season, so they're not playing any more games. New Mexico State, they're done for the season. So absolutely, the WAC hasn't really been super specific on what that means for the teams that had yet to play them or the games that were left on the schedule and what that means for resume seating. And then, does that affect any of the other games that they've previously played in the conference? Who knows? We're still waiting to hear all of that. So, unless something has happened in the last hour on Twitter and I've just missed it, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. And also bear in mind, this was going to be their last year in the WAC anyhow, so we will not be seeing them again.
Yeah, that's very true. Good point. This was it. Done. So yeah, that's where the seating, not the seating, I'm sorry, the standings are. And of course the resume seating is just a little bit different from what the standings are. So you got Utah Valley in first, Sam Houston in second, Seattle in third, Southern Utah at fourth, Grand Canyon at fifth, and then us at sixth. And like I said, I've said this pretty much every game, every episode this season on the conference side. I mean, the top six, there's not going to be a lot of movement there. It's pretty, unless anything crazy or drastic happens between now and the end of the season. I mean, we would need multiple teams to just absolutely shit the bed and not win a single game rest of the season for us to move up, which again could happen. It could happen. Not saying it won't, but it could. But chances are slim. Let's just say.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah. So we're doing okay at 6. We're at the middle of the pack. If we go into the WAC tournament at the 6th seed, we won't get any buys. We'll be playing on Tuesday nights, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, hell, ACU played every single night, and then they got to the championship game. So, not saying, yeah. So anything can happen here, people. But yeah, that's where we're at in the WAC. Okay.
So general game notes for Saturday, our starters were Rati, Trell, Nana, Day Day, and AJ. We did win by 10 points, 82-72. Their attendance was 2,788. I do want to point out that their announcers said that it was a sellout crowd, and I was like, okay. Whatever. So Sean Kennedy's stat section, our field goal percentage was 49.2%. Our 3-point percentage was 40%. Free throws, we were at 84.2. That was higher than all of their stats on shooting percentages. Our points in the paint, we were 42, which was more than them at 34. Our points off turnovers, we also really outscored them 30-13. Our second chance points, we had 17. Our fast break points, we had 20. Bench points, we had 29. We did out rebound them by 7. Our total rebounds were 40. We had 15 offensive and 25 defensive. We did have more fouls than them, 31-21, of course. I do want to say it was funny because their announcers literally said it didn't even register to them how dumb this sounded saying that. They were like, yeah, the Jacks are, doing better in pretty much every stat line except for the fouls. And I'm thinking, the one stat that we don't control, that figures.
Shocker. That wasn't the only dumb thing that they said that night, but that was.
Oh, we got a whole list.
Yes, I'm sure we probably have similar notes there.
So we had 17 turnovers. They only had 16, so not the best. We had 10 steals. We had 3 blocks. And then our game leaders, we had Rati with 19 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. We had Trell with 16 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. We had Jalil with 1 on every stat line, 10 points, 8, almost a double-double, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, 1 steal. And then we had Nana with 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my player of the game, I said I got to give it to Rati.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, if Rati was awesome, like lights out. He had like you said, 19 points, all of his stats. But I don't know, like I'm very close to just giving it to Jaleel for that game because that was probably his best game yet.
Yeah, definitely close second for him because that was absolutely the best game he's had.
100%. I was so impressed with him on Saturday night.
And it's only been a few games this season that we've had a player hit all 5 stat lines.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and to be honest with you, this might be the game that he probably had the most minutes. He only played 17 minutes. And, he's still coming off of a major injury. So that was so impressive. So remember when I said maybe something happened within the last few hours and I just missed it with the whole New Mexico State thing? I guess I did. So apparently this is from Kyle. So I'm just reading Kyle's tweet verbatim. So he said here, this was at 5:10, so a few hours ago. Here's the deal. Every team that was supposed to play New Mexico State in the final 6 games will get the standard home value for beating the Aggies, as those 6 games will be considered a forfeit. So in reality, ACU will get 0.32 points times 2 because they were supposed to play New Mexico State twice within the last 6 games. UTRGV will get 0.32, GCU will get 0.32, CBU will get 0.32, Tarleton will get 0.32 as well. And he said this can change depending on New Mexico State's net changing too. So that's, I guess, what they're going to do for the teams that have yet to play New Mexico State. So, and I get the reasoning, just taking care of the teams that were supposed to play them, because I guess if you go back and take away all the wins and losses from that messes up a lot of stuff. I don't know how much, but I just don't know. Because if you take away all the losses, but then you also take away all the wins, it's only a couple, but you take away all the losses too. I don't know how that would affect everybody's standings and resume seating. Yeah, I'm not quite sure there.
I don't either. And again, this is why I think that we should just go by conference record for the conference tournament. Like, we're making it way too difficult. And in reality, if you play little cupcake teams all of preseason, then you're only injuring yourself because you're not going to be prepared when you get to conference. So I think we should just go off the conference record. Doesn't make any sense.
I mean, and I agree with that statement. Like in logic, I get what the commissioner is doing.
It makes sense when you're trying to seed the whole field of 64 because they're all coming from different conferences that play different levels. But we're only trying to rank our conference, so it should only matter how we play people in our conference. Like, it's that simple. I don't know why it is hard.
Yeah, I mean, I get what he's saying, but I'm just like, we're making it too difficult for ourselves.
The more I think about it, the more agitated I get because it just doesn't make sense.
I know. And of course, a lot of people are kind of weighing in on the decision to just do the games that are previously, or haven't been played yet. A lot of people, I'm not going to say it's mainly just SFA fans, but I feel like they're the brunt of this conversation. So I don't know. A lot of people are saying just no game played, no points awarded, no points deducted. Appears to be pretty simple to me. Wins, losses, records are irrelevant, so feel free to call it a W, but no seeding points should be awarded. For games already played, those plus minus points should stay. Those games were played. I feel like no matter what the WAC does to handle this situation, someone's going to be mad.
Oh, for sure.
So they're going to lose either way, regardless of what their final choice or decision is when it comes to how they're going to handle the rest of those games. Someone out there is going to be freaking pissed. So
yeah, you're not wrong at all, but I do think they would be, since people are going to complain no matter what, I feel like it would just make it easier on themselves to just leave the points from the games played as is and don't award any points for the games that haven't been played because they haven't been played, and then that's just more work on you and people are going to complain no matter what. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
What a mess.
I know. It is a big mess, and I'm just going back and reading other streams too where people are talking. Like, there's a guy here from ACU talking about what they could do as options that kind of don't affect everyone else and that, could still make sense. There's so many different ways to look at this. We're not going to have the solution here on the Pardon Me Alex podcast. If we did, we wouldn't be sitting here. We'd be making the big bucks, but we don't.
I got the solution. No one's just asking me. Like, we should have just never done that in the first place.
I meant about the Mexico games.
Also,
okay,
are we surprised that this is New Mexico's parting gift to the WAC to just make things more confusing?
No. Thanks a lot. It's a clusterfuck. Like, I'm just going to say it's a clusterfuck and there's no other way to describe it. And like I said, no one's going to be happy. Let's see here. Hold on. Hi, Rick. And then Jan, I saw the rat tail.
Everyone was talking about the rat tail.
Everyone was talking about the rat. Yes, everyone was. And I was like, finally, the people that didn't watch the game at home or weren't there for the home game now can see the rat tail.
Well, and it was more obvious this game because I can't remember how he wore his hair last time, but I think he had some of it down. But this time he had it all on buns.
He had it all up, so it was boom in your face, baby. I made the joke that, man, we went down to the valley, but shit, they didn't rally. Because that's like their saying is rally in the valley, which is cute. I like it. Cute. No hate on UTRGV at all. I think they're a good institution, 100%. It was their homecoming weekend. Maybe don't schedule SFA for your homecoming weekend.
Probably not.
Just a thought for the future. Schedule SFA when you schedule them, but just don't hold homecoming on the weekend that we come to town. Just a thought. Because I will say, not going to say that stadium is humongous by any shape or form. What was their attendance? 27. I believe that's probably their max attendance, to be honest with you, because when the game first came on, I was like, man, it's pretty packed in there. But then when they said it was homecoming, I was like, oh, okay.
So they must not have football, I guess.
They don't have football yet. They're getting football.
Okay.
I don't think they're supposed to have football until like next year or the year after or something like that. But basketball has been their major sport, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, their little basketball stadium, Coliseum area isn't super big. So it wasn't like, our stadium where you can sit 7,000 people in it. And if you have 2,000, it looks empty as shit. And so, they're from the cameras, I was like, man, that looks like
it was small.
It was small. And when the game started, it was pretty packed. And I was like, well, good for them. And then as soon as halftime kicked off, that place was fucking empty.
Yeah, it was. It was larger than Incarnate Word, but marginally.
Yeah, marginally. Okay, so let's scroll and dive right into the strengths of this game. There were a lot. I feel like this game was just what we needed to kind of tie up a crappy first half of the road games, those 3 road games. We started off strong and ended strong. The second half was a little wonky, but we held in there. Right off the gate, Rati coming in, hitting a 3. That I know, like, honestly, when we start off the game with a major bucket like that, it makes me feel and have good vibes for the rest of the game, because I feel like we're just already on top of it and we know we have a game plan and we're sticking to it, kind of a thing. Right out of the gate with that 3 gave me good vibes. Who do you want to talk about first? Rati, Jaleel?
Well, I was going to say, so to finish up on Rati, he had some, obviously he was half point, but he had some really nice pull-up jumpers several times.
I agree.
But then very shortly after he made that 3 to open us up, Jaleel had a really nice little backdoor dunk, and that gave me a feeling that he was going to play well,
Yeah, he looked like a completely different player. Like, I'm not saying he's been playing badly, but because he really hasn't been getting a lot of minutes to like really get into a groove. But this game just felt different from him, and I'm really hoping he can bring that passion and that fire and those skills to Wednesday's game so we could see it in person. I was just, again, I mentioned this earlier, I was just extremely impressed with his court presence watching that game. I really, really hope he can continue doing that on the rest of the season and into the postseason. Great game from Jaleel. He had nice defense. Again, he was there for a few slams. I think he had like at least 1 alley-oop maybe in there, if I can recall.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And that was in the first half. Second half, he had a nice rebound and then drawing a foul for a putback. That was great. Let's see, what else, Jaleel? Yeah. Second half, he had that slam alley-oop in the second half. I made sure I noted that. And that was great. We don't normally have like alley oops and backdoor cuts. So then when we do have them, it's like,
I know.
Who are we? Who is this? Yeah.
Yeah, we had a couple of nice backdoor cuts, which always makes me really happy because I feel like usually we're the one giving those up.
Yeah, which we are. We give those up too much.
Yeah, which I mean, again, we've talked about this like a billion times, but it's we get it. That's the risk that we run of overplaying on defense, and it usually pays off. It just when it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, here we are. Okay. Yeah, Rati with that 3, amazing. The couple layups that you mentioned as well. I mean, he didn't have 19 points for nothing. Like he was out there dogfighting the whole time, playing well, playing some good defense. Really, really proud of Rati for showing up and kicking some butt that game. But I obviously would be remiss if I don't talk about our boy Trell, 16 points, baby. He had three threes as well, along with Rati. He was 100% on his free throws. He had those 2 rebounds. He did foul out, but there was just a lot of fouls in this game, which I'm sure we'll discuss in the grievances.
Yeah, I feel like the last foul they called on him was kind of a BS
call.
Honestly.
100%. I wrote that down too. I was not pleased with that. It just felt like a very garbage foul at the end of the game, and I was just not feeling it.
And at least 2 or 3 of his threes were like way out.
Parking lot.
Way out.
Yeah. They were far. Oh yeah, I love the silencer tea thing. Yeah, I'm glad you got that, Rick.
Yeah, you're gonna have to post a picture in it.
Yes, 100%. I think Trell had 2 threes back to back, like 2 nice ones back to back, like in a sequence there. I literally wrote on my notes, Trell for 3, ooh-wee. Because when I'm watching at home, when we have an away game and I'm able to watch it at, at the same time it's on, I'm using my little Bluetooth keyboard, and I have my phone in my keyboard. And I'm like typing away as I'm watching, going back and forth between Twitter and my notes and typing. And so whenever things are going on and things are going really fast, I'm literally typing, and I just I can't hit the space bar quick enough. And so it's just, there's some of my notes on here that are like all like jumbled together. Like literally right here, it all says like all one word, don't mess with Trell. No space.
That was a really good investment for you, that little keyboard.
I know. I'm so glad I asked that for Christmas. That was one of my Christmas presents because it's been coming in handy. I love it. But yeah, Trell with 3s, love it. Absolute parking lot 3s, a couple of those.
I gotta brag on Robbie a little bit because
I was literally just about to say Robbie's name. Okay, this is again we're here.
So he scored 4 points. I mean, not a massive amount, but he had a really good defensive game. He took a really nice charge. He had a steal where he ran and threw his body on the floor in front of the defender. Got the steal, passed it off. Yeah, he played great.
He didn't have a breakaway dunk too at one point.
I can't.
He had a breakaway layup or a dunk because I was afraid he was gonna hold on to that rim for too long, and he didn't. He immediately jumped down, and I was like, thank God, because I don't want us to get called for that again.
And so proud of him for not hanging on the rim. I mean, he usually doesn't. And then my other proud of Robbie moment will also be a grievance because the rest of the sequence was a huge grievance. But
huge grievance. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Got mauled after the whistle was already blown.
Mm-hmm.
Just got right up and didn't react at all. And of the severity of that situation comparatively to the other times that he's reacted, I thought this would have been the one that just set
him off
the loop. And he got up, didn't react at all, didn't say anything, didn't push, didn't do anything.
I was shocked.
I was too.
Shocked. I know. I felt like if anything, that was going to be the game where he gets like a double tech immediately and he's out. You know what I mean? Because of that sequence that you're talking about right there. But yeah, love Robbie when he's on the court. Like we've said this before, he's all over the place. He's playing offense, defense. He's trying to get rebounds. He's, he puts his body on the line, probably when he shouldn't be, because he's still also recovering from major injuries. And so, but you cannot match his passion and fire. He is just an absolute nutball, and we love him for it. Man, oh man, I have to also give a quick little shout out to our boy, Nana.
Really nice shots this game.
Really, 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 really. He was 4 for 4 with his free throws. 3
of 3 from the field. He was perfect.
I know. I was so pleased. So pleased. He could have more rebounds, yes, but
wasn't his best rebounding game.
No, it was not his best rebounding game at all.
But
yeah,
100% off the board on any shots taken. So
there were some shots he took that I was so excited when I saw, because I saw glimpses of what Nana can be at his full potential. And I literally wrote down Nana being aggressive at the rim. Fucking love it. Like when he gets in there and he's aggressive with it, he's gonna get fouled. Like they're gonna foul him 100%. He just needs to go up with it and take the shot.
I agree.
And this is the same grievance. Well, we're not even grievances yet, but this is the same thing we've talked about all year, all season, last season, things with our bigs. You just, there are times when you need to be aggressive, and those are it, man. And so Jaleel had that slam alley, and then right maybe a play or two after, Derek had a nice little alley as well. So love getting Derek some minutes in there and getting some good looks for him.
And Derek also had a really great steal right under the basket.
Oh yeah, exactly. Let's see here. What else?
No, I almost threw a party when they finally gave Justin Johnson a tech for a flop.
He had been doing it all game. He did it all last game too.
Whole entire game. Well, I will grieve about that for 47 minutes, but I was so happy when they finally get a tech.
Oh my God. Yeah. There were a number of missed calls throughout that game on him and a few other of the players too. But I know I felt like it was way past due when he finally got that flop call.
Yeah, they didn't call it till the very last media timeout. I'm like, so we have 4 minutes left, and now you just called it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Let's see here. Also, Day, our boy Day. He had 8 points, 1 block. He had 7 rebounds. 7 rebounds. Him and Jaleel had the most rebounds of the night. Jaleel had 8, and Day, not DD, Day had 7. And Rati had 5. So that's I love those stats. I'm 40 rebounds, nutballs, love that. And decent number were offensive too. We haven't had that many offensive rebounds in a few games, so love seeing that number come up as well. But yeah, great rebounds from Day. He was playing like Day. He had some really great looks, some good rebounds, some good putbacks. When Day's on, he's on. Love to see it. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, my last one is actually a feat of strength as a thank you to UTRGV. Mm-hmm. Thank you for not starting to foul at the end when you were nowhere within reach of winning. Because y'all know how I hate that, and I just knew they were going to do it, and they didn't.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Because the game already took like 30 minutes longer than it should have because of how many times that
They had
Justin Johnson shot free throws.
And in the first half, when they stopped for like 10, 15 minutes because they had to figure out the whole personal foul thing. Don't get me started. Well, we're about to get started. Yeah. Okay. So moving on.
With the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it. You.
All right, Jax. Fire away.
So let's talk about the 3 tech situation first.
Yeah, that's what took the longest. I felt like the game had lasted like an hour. And there was 5 minutes gone in the first half.
So my first starting note, number 10 on their team, obviously y'all know I'm not talking about Artrell. He has a punchable face.
He wanted to fight, bro. He wanted to fight.
He didn't though. He don't want the smoke. He did not want the smoke that was going to be coming his way. However, I have grievances on him and their commentators for this whole like shenanigan.
Yeah.
First off, there was a sequence of things that he did to Robbie, and this is why I'm so proud that Robbie didn't react. First, he tried to grab Robbie. Then he falls on him. Okay, that's playing basketball. That happens. He tries to put his arm back and lay on Robbie's throat like this. Then, when the sequence was over, he threw the ball at Robbie's back. Then he's going to sit there and whine to the referee like he's the one who got hurt. And I'm like, you literally instigated all this. This was all you, brother. And then their commentators are sitting there saying, oh, nothing looked intentional. And he was just going, this was just a basketball play. And I'm like, he literally did like 3 things in a row that were completely 100% intentional.
I mean, they literally made it sound like it was all Robbie's fault.
Yeah, and they said that Robbie provoked him. And I'm like,
yes.
Please.
At what point was there a provocation on Robbie's part? Like,
listen, Robbie is capable of provoking. We have seen it. Love you, Robbie, but you can provoke. He did not one breath of provoking.
Exactly.
Sequence.
And then you have number 10, Dima, who's literally just like staring Robbie down, saying something.
Zador.
Yeah, Dima Zador.
Oh, okay. That's the one who fell on him. Yeah.
Yeah, number 10, Dima Zador.
Okay. I thought you were talking about their other player who was involved.
No. It's just his first name is Dima. Just staring him down and then saying something to him. And again, Robbie didn't say anything back from what we could tell. And he let his teammates take over. Cause I mean, they came in charging to come and get Robbie off the floor. And you had Rati in there telling, sticking his nose in. Of course, Trell. Well, we all know why, because Trell got one of the techs. So what happened was Trell got a tech, and then 2 of the UTRGV players got a tech, which were, of course, Dima and Justin Johnson.
No, Darius Ward was.
Darius Ward. I'm sorry. Yes. There were 3 technical fouls total on UTRGV for the whole night, but Dima and Darius,
flopping. But you know what I'm going to say is I had to play it back because when they came back and said that Trell was our player who got the tech, I was like, I didn't even see him in there. And when I watched it back, obviously I saw him in the back, kind of like giving a little. But I didn't see him because I was focusing on Rati coming up and yelling at the dude. So I was surprised. I mean, I don't blame him. It makes me happy that he did come in, but I was more focused. That was like in the foreground. So I thought Rati was going to get the tech.
That's what I thought too, because you're right. When they first showed it, when it was in real time, I did not see Trell anywhere in there getting involved. And then when they did play it back, I saw him in the back because I could see his braids, and he was like kind of tussling and pushing a little bit behind some of the taller guys. And I was like, there it is. Okay, got it. Fair, fine, whatever. Because I was going to get so mad if they didn't at least double tech it But if they gave it all on Robbie or all on Trell or all on Rati, I was gonna come through that fucking TV.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally watching the game with Dad, and I'm like, if they at least at minimum don't give a double tech, like I'll be pissed. Like if they put it all on us, saying that we instigated and it was all, I was gonna fuming. I'd have been fine with the double tech. I'm like, fair, cool, fine, whatever. There was pushing, there was talking on both sides. Fine. But the fact that they didn't even call Robbie on anything, I was like, good, because he didn't do anything.
Yeah, not one thing.
The fact that he's always on the ground and
yeah.
Robbie's already, I wrote down twice. I was like, Robbie's on the floor again. There he is again. There he is again. He's always on the ground. But yeah, that was just a wild scenario. And the fact that it took them so long, I was like, my God, this game's never going to end.
It took forever.
It just took forever. Shall we just get it over now and just bitch about the announcers now? Because I was so mad at them. Yeah. They could not pronounce anyone's name correctly to honestly save their lives. Like if it honestly was a life and death situation and they had to pronounce Day over DD, I'm like, what is this, Dexter's Laboratory? Like, DD, get out to my laboratory.
That's what it made me think of too. Yeah, they mispronounced like half of our players' names.
At no point or where or place does Sedadrian Hall have a nickname written down that says DD.
Yeah. I don't
know where
it came from.
Nowhere.
And then ones that should have been, that just sound exactly phonetically as how they're spelled, they couldn't get either. Like Bo Byrne.
Like, yeah, Jaleel's.
Like you got the Bo part correct, but then you're going to pronounce Burn. Like you just transpose the letters. I don't understand.
You literally flip the letters. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Then they started calling Rati. They were calling him Rati Ware the whole game. And then towards the end of the game, they started calling him Rati Ward. I'm like, who the fuck is that? What are we doing?
And they said Cajuice for the first, course of the game. And then they said Cajole. They did call Matt Hyman once. And I was like, we did have a Hyman, but even when he was on the team, he really didn't play. So I don't know why you took a vowel out of his name. But anywho, and then they would switch back and forth between how they pronounced Derek's last name.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of times they would say Tizino, or they would say, I'm trying to think. They said it like 3 different ways. I can't even remember.
Tenzino, Tazio.
And then they said Tizano. And I'm like, that one makes no sense. I can get the other ones, but like you added an A in there.
He's Tizano. He's Italian now.
However, you know what I will say is they did mess up their own players' names too, because at the end they called Justin Johnson Johnston like a couple of times.
Oh, God. See, this is why, like, I don't mind them having young guys or girls, students working on stuff, as long as they're inept and they're skilled and they know what they're doing and they're practiced and they're polished. But if you just throw any schmuck on there just to fill a fucking space, they better be the coolest dude or chick in the world and have great things to say, because if they're over there mispronouncing stuff, can't even get their own players' names right, like, what are we doing? Like, this is amateur hour over here.
Yeah, and you know what? Only one of them looked young, though, and I don't even know that he was the one who was saying the names wrong.
I don't know. All I have to say is some of the 2 corniest one-liners I've ever heard in my life during a broadcast. First corny one-liner. One of the announcers, don't know which one, said, you could say that Zador closed the door on that play.
Yeah. That one was a dad joke.
I almost shit my pants. I was like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, you were trying to be funny and it fell flat. Good try. And then when Trell came in for an attempted layup and a hook shot, he missed it, first of all. Second of all, why would you say this if he misses the fucking hook shot? They must call him Captain Hook.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. And I was like, I'm confused about how that's even relevant right now. But
if he would have made the hook shot, sure. But you act like Trell goes in and takes layups for days.
Yeah, it's like the last shot that he takes, really.
Literally. I'm like, that they must call him Captain Hook. I was flabbergasted. I was like, what is this? What are we doing? If he would have made the hook shot, maybe throw that liner out.
Yeah.
But he missed it. I just could not believe. I could not. Couple other things.
Let's talk about number one and his insane amount of free throws.
Yeah, let's go ahead. This
kid came up to the line one more time. I was about to lose my mind. And first of all, even their announcers said it felt like he had taken 100 free throws that game. Number two, I think Matt and Chauncey's comments were spot on. That he was like a human bowling ball. And here's what irritates me so bad about that. Like, especially as a player, I've played players like that before. That's not basketball.
No.
It's basketball. It's literally just like trying to play to the referees and run down the floor as fast as you can and just run into somebody and hope that they didn't have position and you get a foul call. Like,
yeah. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of a real kind of unspoken position in hockey where you have guys called enforcers. And they literally throw their asses onto the ice to just go and hit people. And that's what they do. You know what I mean? Like, but that's hockey though. Like, that's kind of like an unspoken okay thing to do. That's not basketball.
No, and it's just it is some type of skill. I will give him that. But it's not basketball. Like, that's not a basketball skill. You're literally just being as haphazard and chaotic as possible and hoping that you get a call.
And honestly, he could have really hurt someone with the amount of ridiculous plays and running into players that he did. I mean, he attempted 25.
Okay. So they also said, their announcer said that he's one of the nation's leaders in free throws taken.
Well, now we know why.
Taken. And I'm like, that's a stat that I would not be proud of.
No.
And in addition to that, so he made 15 or 25, it's like 60-ish%. If he would have shot his free throws any better, we could have lost this game.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on him simply running down the floor, but he can't even really make them that well. So it's like, if that's your game plan, shoot better than 60% from the line, man.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, that's why I wasn't too concerned when he started fouling people and getting, I was like, because man, he's missing a bunch, but then he started making them. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Here we go. I was like, the game is not that close, but it's close enough where I'm like, no, please don't, no more fouling. But at the same time, it wasn't like we were fouling him on purpose. He was causing the fouls, which it should have been him getting the foul called on. But no, of course it wasn't.
Totally. And that's what frustrates me so bad. My sinuses are all of a sudden going nuts. Anyone who's watching this, I'm not crying. That's what frustrates me so bad is that, like, as a referee, if you have a player who's playing like that, all you literally have to do is call one offensive charge on him at the beginning of the game and then set the tone. Like, you can't just bowling ball yourself down the court and just run into everybody in your path. Like,
yeah,
they would have called one offensive foul on him. He would have had to back up off of that.
Mm-hmm.
But since they played into it, that was his game plan. However,
they didn't take control early. They didn't take control of the game and stop that shit and put it, nip it in the bud early.
And again, if your game plan is going to be to get to the free throw line, make more than 60%, man. I mean,
oh yeah.
if that's what I was hanging my hat on, I would at least like practice my free throws.
Right, exactly.
4 of 13 from the field. He can't shoot.
No.
Can't make the free throws either.
No, he was 0 of 5, 3-point line. I mean, he can't shoot worth a lick.
No.
Lick. I mean, they were taking threes out of fucking left field. They attempted 19 threes. And I mean, their 3-point percentage was dog shit. I'm not saying that ours is always amazing, but I'm just sitting here like they.
Yeah, it was not good. The only person they had who could really shoot threes was number 15. He made 5. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That's field goals, not threes. Well, he made 2 out of 3.
He made 2 out of 3. And then Will Johnston, Mr. Rattail, had 2 out of 4. So, yeah, I mean, the threes, they attempted a ton of threes and couldn't really make a bunch at all. Yeah, I know. So, Justin Johnson, you are just you're something, man. You're something. Mr. SpongeBob shorts and shoes.
I know. You know what? This game, he wasn't wearing the SpongeBob shorts, but
pretty sure he had the shoes on.
He was wearing were like green. I couldn't tell what they were.
Yeah, they weren't like a standard color again. Like there was some funky color yet again.
Yeah.
Nigel, I gotta piss on your parade for 2 seconds. I love you so much, but man, you missed the freaking layup 3 times, and then you got 2 fouls in 1 minute.
The 2 fouls in 1 minute was rough.
Yeah. 2 fouls in 1 minute.
Your commentators made sure to make a point of that.
Of course they did. Well, of course they did. Of course they did. Coach for UTRGV should have got a tech, but he didn't. He was it was like, who was doing that the last time? Man, was he the one that was yelling at when they played us at home? He was yelling at the coaches or yelling at the refs, and you told him like, man, if the refs or if Keller ever yelled at the refs like that, we would have gotten a tech. Was that UTRGV or was that a different team?
No, I think it was GCU.
Okay. But man, he was hot on the sidelines, hot, and I'm not meaning attractive. He was warm on the sidelines during that whole like 3 tech fouls situation. Whenever they brought Keller in and him in to like discuss and tell them what they decided, he got pissed. And Keller's like, all right, cool. Like,
yeah,
we'll take it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was, he should have been a tech for all the yelling he did, but I digress. I still think number 10, even though he didn't want the smoke, I think he thought he wanted the smoke because there was multiple instances, not only the time where he fell on Robbie, but there was like another time later in the game where he also either took a charge or got fouled or something, and he stood up and started jawing. And I'm like, does he not get it? Like,
yeah, he was
like,
I can give a few words, but I won't use any of them here. I used them when I was watching the game, though.
Right. Yeah, I wrote them down. I'm not going to repeat them. I forgot to mention this during the feats of strength. I'm so sorry. Nana, you had a full ass body block. Yeah, you fouled the guy, but damn. When I was saying I love the aggressiveness down there in the paint, I love the hell out of that. I will take that foul every day of the week because you stuffed him. So do that more. AJ, bad pass into the lane. A couple of those, not just by AJ, but there were a couple bad passes into the lane and bad passing on like
yeah, there were a couple that were not.
I can't remember. Like on fast breaks. Sorry, fast breaks. Getting a little ahead of ourselves.
We had several errant passes on fast breaks.
Yeah. Let's see. And then how many fouls did Day have? Let me go back.
Either 4 or he fouled out.
Yeah, he had 4. That was my thing, man. We had 2 guys that fouled out. We had Day with 4. We had AJ with 4. We had Nigel with 4. And then we had Rati with 3. We just had too many guys in foul trouble or foul out. And And again, a lot of those came towards the end of the game, and they were garbage fouls, and it came from Justin. And that's where I am just aggressively hot. There was a foul on Day for absolutely, I don't even know what. Like, he wasn't even near the play to be, I don't even know what it was. I really don't. It happened so fast, but they called it on Day, and I'm like, for what? Literally for what? He did nothing. Very frustrating. And then towards the end of the game, we got a warning. Keller got a warning for not being in the coach's box.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I had to text Chauncey and ask her. I was like, what was the warning for? And she said, for the coach's box.
Which, I mean, they needed a little yelling. Sorry, because even their announcers, who were very biased, pointed out it was just very inconsistent with the foul calling from the first half to the second half, because the first half, I don't think they got in the double bonus until like 2 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second half, there was still like 11 minutes left when they were in the double bonus. So it's a huge discrepancy, like not even close.
It was. And even Chauncey said, she goes, he was literally closer to the coach's box, like in it, than he was out of it. And here's my thing. They could call that warning or that foul at any point of the game to either coach. Yeah. Most of these coaches at all levels don't stay in the freaking coach's box. So, I mean, it's so ticky-tacky.
Yeah.
So ticky-tacky, and it drives me nuts. And the fact is that the guy that called it came running from the other side of the baseline. It wasn't even the ref that was like, that should have called it, who was right there by Keller.
Yeah, and you'll know how I hate that. I hate when they call that's not in their area.
Not in their zone. Well, I mean, what are we doing? Yeah, so that was pretty much my last one.
Especially that call, because more especially, like, if that call's not in your area, if the coach is not bugging the referee whose area he's in, then
then why call it?
Kind of like emasculating your fellow referee by calling over him on a call that, like, if he didn't call it, it's not bothering him. I can see making a call that actually affects the play, but like that call only affects the referee. So if you're calling somebody else, it's like, he's a big boy. If it bothers him, he can call it if he's standing right there.
Exactly. No, that's spot on. That is a spot on analysis. I mean, that boggled my mind. That's why when I texted Chauncey, because I'm literally sitting here like, why did Keller just get a warning? Like, the ref that was right there didn't call it. I don't know what the warning was for. I'm like, was it a bench warning? And then when she said coach's box, I'm like, why? They could have called the same thing on the freaking coach for UTRGV. He was hot and bothered out of the box the whole game. So, I mean, come on. Home court advantage right there a little bit. I feel like that was just, that's dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, give me a break. I know it was just a warning, and it wasn't, we didn't assess any sort of tech or a foul or anything, but still, like, you should have gave both teams a warning. Make it fair.
Yeah. I have two more referee complaints. There was one where number 11 like ran and jumped on the ball and literally rolled over and sat up and passed it.
Yes.
No, sat up and called a timeout. Should have been a travel.
Mm-hmm.
A huge travel. And then this one, even their announcers disagreed with it. Towards the end, Jalil got like an amazing block that was 100% clean. And even their announcers, when it showed the replay, they were like, yeah, it was a clean block. Last but not least, I feel bad for Matt, because this is his second game that he's taken a shot to the family jewels. To the family jewels, yeah. And I'm like, this poor guy. Like, was it always him?
I know.
Yeah.
He needs to wear a jock strap and a cup or something, because
it's. I don't know why, but I mean, after the second time, I think you got to take some preventative measures.
It's just getting a little ridiculous and redundant. I mean, it's just, for some reason, it's always him. And
I literally was like, again, Matt, and Matt who gets hit, like,
yeah.
kidding me.
Yeah. So bad. I felt bad for him. I know. He was wincing, and yeah, don't blame him. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Jacqueline, what's your word to describe this game?
Free throws.
Yeah. Good word. Mine is, I'm gonna hyphenate it, bounce back. It's a bounce back, baby. Hyphenated bounce back. First 2 games on the road were, not ideal. And so we come back for the last road game of this stretch before we go back home and bounce back, had a good game versus UTRGV at their homecoming. And, had some really great moments in that game. So I'm really, really pleased with that performance. And hopefully we carry that over into Wednesday's game and into the weekend, because we got a lot coming up.
We have a lot. We have a big week coming ahead.
We do. We have a really big week. So let's talk about that really big week coming up here. So it's so wild that we're almost to the end of the season, the regular season already. We have 6 games left. Wednesday's game is going to be at 6:30 at home on ESPN Plus versus Tarleton State. Always a big matchup when they come to town too. They're no one to just kind of, rub our noses at and sniff at. Like, they're always a good challenge and always a good team, no matter where they're at in the standings or what their, wins and losses are on the record. It's going to be a good.
I'm pretty sure it's the first time we played them at home, because last season we only played them on the road.
Right. Yeah. Last season was just on the road. This season it's finally playing them at home. This was the first time we've played them this year. So for some reason, we only been playing them once a year, which is just weird, but
I don't get it either.
But next season, I'm sure that's going to change because, we're losing two members of the WAC. But yeah, so Tarleton State on Wednesday at 6:30. And then February 18th, of course, on Saturday is the big Heckler Hayes reunion. Big weekend coming up on the 18th. We're obviously playing a game. It's a 2:00 game, so it's an early game. That means early tailgate. UTA, so UT Arlington. I feel bad that, they're going through a little bit of a change at the coach's position. So now they have an interim coach, and now they're, having to finish out the season and go into WAC Vegas at, just a little bit jumbled up towards the top, but at least it's someone who has been with the team. It's, it was their assistant coach. And so it's not going to be too crazy, but still, I always hate that when teams do that shit during a season, because it just messes up the flow. It messes up the chain of, it kind of throws everybody for a loop. So I do feel a little bad for them about that portion, but of course, when tip-off occurs, I'm classy till tip-off, baby. Tip-off happens and things get wild, especially at this game because it's the Heckler Hayes reunion. So we'll be getting a little bit more rowdy than what we normally do. So sorry in advance. Actually, no. Sorry, not sorry. Not sorry one bit. This is the one game where we can relive our college days, and so without it being looked upon too unfavorably. So we're going to take advantage of it. Plus, it's dollar beers. You might have to roll me out of William R. Johnson. Just saying.
I bet the little golf cart will come get us.
They may have to. I'm just saying. They may have to. I may have to get a ride home with Officer Cupcake or something. He may have to put me in the back of his mule and drive me back home. Just no handcuffs, please. No handcuffs. So yeah, then so that weekend, like I said, this weekend, great game. If you're coming in for the UTA game on Saturday, please come tailgate with us over in the parking lot. I'm sure we'll be starting. I'm sure it all gets really ramped up, probably around 11 or 12, but I'm sure, I've talked to Matt. I have a feeling that we'll probably get out there between 10, 11. I don't know for sure exactly. I have to check on that because I know I need to go pick up the beer from the brewery and bring it over too. So, yeah. Plus, that's also our Mardi Gras party at the brewery. So literally it's going to be go tailgate, go to the game, leave the game, go to the Mardi Gras party.
It's going to be a jam-packed day.
It's going to be a jam-packed day. And the Mardi Gras party is something you just don't miss at the brewery. That's all I'm saying. They got king cake cream ale beer, which is delicious. Delicious. We're going to have beignets, gumbo. We're going to have crawfish pizza and andouille pizza. Going to have barbecue. Going to have White Farmhouse Bakery. Going to have live music from the Old Town Brass Band, who Jacqueline scheduled, and they're amazing. They're so good. It's a party. Can't miss it, honestly. So anyway, that'll be post-game. So then we move on towards the rest of the season. Next away game will be on February 22nd, playing Abilene Christian in Abilene. February 26th is our Sunday Fun Day on ESPNU, baby. This is a nationally televised game, people. Nationally televised. ESPN Plus, that's streaming. That's streaming online. This is on TV. T.V. Okay? This is big. We need people to come out to our tailgate on that day, starting around noonish, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock-ish, and then going till tip-off, which tip-off is at 6 on that Sunday, the 26th. Please come out. We need people to pack that place. We need the William R. Johnson Sawmill to be a buzzing. A buzz, buzz, buzz.
We need a good turnout.
We really do. Really do. Especially if it's on national television. That's my big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last home game of the year is on Wednesday, March 1st. I hate when we have to play Sam Houston on a weekday because I feel like that just
Me too.
automatically just lessens our attendance. Yeah, it just drives me nuts. But that's the Sam Houston game. That'll be the last game we play versus Sam Houston, well, in the regular season. Who knows what will happen in Vegas. But, yeah, this could be the last one for a while. So take advantage of it. It'll be at home Wednesday, 6:30, March 1st. And then the last game of the season, we travel to Orem, Utah, March 3rd. It's on a Friday. Random. I know. Playing Utah Valley, the best team in the league. What a way to end this.
Right?
So, yeah. A lot coming up. So many things happening in the next few weeks here. And then we move on to WAC Vegas. And Jacqueline and I have our flights. We have our hotels, plural. We're ready. We have our media credentials. We are ready to go.
We are ready.
It's going to be a long couple days. I say a couple. It's more like it's almost 7 days.
Yeah. It's pretty much a week.
Yeah. Believe me, we will not be partying every night of those weeks or that week. There's no way.
No.
There will be some nights where we literally go to dinner and probably go directly back to the room.
Yeah, I think there will be some what's the burger place called there that we went to last time?
Oh, In-N-Out.
Yeah, I think there will be some In-N-Out burger in bed nights.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. We're staying at the Rio this year. Last year we stayed at the Link, which was on the Strip. This year we're staying at Rio, which is like a block or two from the Strip, very not far away at all. And so we're excited. New hotel. It was one of the first hotels I ever visited when I went to Vegas for the first time I don't even know how old I was. I was like in junior high or something. So I'm excited. I haven't been in it since. It's kind of like Carnival, Rio de Janeiro type kind of feel to it. So that should be fun. But again, we're going to be right by the Strip. So I'm sure we'll be on the Strip multiple times. I would love to know who else is going to Vegas. If you're going to Vegas, please let us know. Even if you're going for just a few days, please hit it up because we would love to hang out and go and do things. Our hotel has a couple really good restaurants and things to do. And of course, there's a lot of fun, free and low cost things to do on the Strip too. So there's a few things we didn't do the first time we were there, that I would like to do this time. And again, very much free or low cost. So, and we'll be there for enough days. We'll have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're excited. We're ready. We're ready for our little vacay, our yearly vacay. I know. Oh man. All right.
Wow.
What now?
I said it's going to be wild, I'm sure.
As always. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please remember to always tip your waitresses. I'm just kidding. So make sure that you're following us on the social media, on all of our platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You could follow, obviously, our podcast pages, but also you could follow underneath our names here, our personal pages. We like to, tweet from time to time. Jacqueline, 10% of the time. Alex, 90% of the time. That's not even 10. It's probably more like 5.
Yeah, not often.
Yeah, not often, but it's okay. Yeah. Follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube, watch, listen, however you'd like to watch and listen to us. And also, if you feel so inclined to donate to our travel budget, go buy some shirts, go buy some merch on our Bonfire store. Get some game day shirts. I bet if you order it now, tonight, tomorrow, you could probably have it by the end of the season. Something to wear. Yeah, something to wear when you come to the game days at the end of this month. Support your local broke podcasters who have to spend money and go to Vegas every year.
And it ain't free, baby. It ain't free.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Been paid for this gig, so
no. Yeah. I know. So yeah, if you can please donate to our budget by getting a couple game day shirts, we would be forever grateful for that. And also some of that money goes to Purple Lights Fund too, so it doesn't all just go to our pockets. So yeah. And then also, if you're looking for a great gift idea for that special lumberjack in your life, maybe for Valentine's Day, maybe for upcoming birthday or a wedding anniversary, perchance, whatever the holiday is that you want to celebrate, or just because, maybe consider getting a My Plates. My Plates, it's an easy, fun way to support SFA Athletics. If you go to www.myplates.com/lumberjacks, you can get also a $50 rebate. Choose between 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plans. You can get an unpersonalized or a personalized plate. Lots of options for you on there. Highly recommend that you get a My Plate. Pimp your ride out with that purple passion, baby. Lots of P's there, alliteration. And just it's an easy, fun way to support your SFA athletic teams. I mean, that's just the simplest way to describe it. And then, of course, anytime you purchase a Purple Lights from Fredonia Brewery, either on tap or in a can at Fredonia Brewery itself, or at any home athletic event, that there is a portion of that money that goes back to SFA Athletics. So anytime you are drinking a Purple Lights, you're also supporting SFA too. So easy, true, simple, love it. Drink some beer, support your teams. That's it. We're done. Pack it up. Party's over. Turn the lights out.
Turn the lights out.
Turn the lights out. The party is over.
Wait. On that note, I gotta share Dad's one little savage text during the game.
Okay, let's hear it. This will be the ender. This will be the clincher.
Since it made me think of that. Okay, it was when we were going into halftime. I don't even remember what we did, but we used up the whole shot clock and didn't get a shot at all.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he said, great. As soon as it happened, I said out loud, let me see what Richard has to say about this. And I was just about to text him, and he texts and says, great last possession.
That is true. We had multiple shot clock violations, which we didn't mention in the grievances, but
I had it listed. I just didn't even get there. I had too many other ones, but it was literally was about to be like, let me ask him what he has to say about that last possession. And then he's like,
great last possession. He is so savage. He doesn't even know that he's savage, and he's
doesn't
savage.
even know it. Doesn't like it. Completely oblivious.
Oh God, I love it. All right, guys, we love you. We thank you for your support as always. Axe 'em Jacks.
with Alex and Jax.